Hello, and welcome back to Real Talk, Real Healing. On this episode today, this is going to be possibly a deeper conversation and a little bit heavier. So, just a little pre warning. We're going to be talking about possible sensitive subjects, but we are going through a real time healing process. So, stay tuned. And this is Lisa and Desi, and Lisa is currently going to be coached and supported by Desi. Real time. And just to give you a little summary of what we're getting into today, um, me and my boyfriend have had a really tough week. And unfortunately, a week ago, we found out that his sister passed away unexpectedly. And it's still very fresh. And I'm so grateful I have Desi to lean on and support.
Mm,
And I think this is the perfect opportunity to share with you guys what the healing process looks like and how we work through personally in real time
mm,
and be open to obviously you do not have to be going through something as heavy as I am as grief and feeling the waves and emotions, but I truly know and I feel very pulled to share what I'm going through,
mm,
share how I'm processing things in the moment because it's definitely allowing me to lean into my emotions more. And of course, as coaches and as ever on this self-healing journey, it
mm,
is very important to allow yourself to feel. It is very important to lean into my tools right now. And I'm so, so grateful that I have them. And I'm so, so grateful for this opportunity with Desi and with our podcast to share what this is all about. Like, this is why we're freaking here. So, might as well lean in, might as well be vulnerable. So,
mm,
if you stay tuned for this whole episode, I so appreciate you. And if this resonates with you, no matter what you're going through, I hope it does. And maybe you come back to this for some healing. And I just thank you for listening in and sharing this experience with me. Because even just talking to the microphone, I do feel already the support and the
mm.
love. Um, and you know that this is why we're here. So I truly do believe that.
Yeah, I think, as we're coming together for, this podcast, we named it Real Talk, Real Healing. And it's like, well, here's the real talk and here's the real healing in real time. And it's such a precious and intimate conversation that we're going to have. And I just want to thank Lisa for being vulnerable and being brave enough to be here to have the hard conversations and to really put out there to the world what's on her heart and what she's going through. So, of course, we're going to meet her with so much grace and so much love and so much admiration for coming and being so vulnerable. So,
Yeah.
let's dive in. So, I would love
Mhm.
to know what is like really present for you through this time of grieving.
Um, I think the biggest thing that I've been coming back to and that I shared with you already in the beginning when I reached out a week ago and I was like, this is really heavy today. I just need a little support of, how to work through this and what you recommend. Because even though I know the tools, sometimes I get stuck still in my mind and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, or I just need someone to kind of guide me a little bit and be like, ooh, yeah, that feels good. And the thing that I shared with you was I felt like guilt in a way was is still coming up, or just like doubting or questioning, along those lines because as I'm sure I'll share a little bit of this story and the reasoning of passing the possible reasoning. We do not know for sure, but we can assume she's had some troubles in the past and we assume it is a complications of what she was dealing with in her body and also a possible overdose. So it is very sad because we're never going to get the true answers.
Mm,
And I think I just feel guilty a little bit of the fact that like I have all these tools and I could help her, if she was ready, obviously, and that's not my choice.
mm-hmm.
That's not her path, which is very hard to admit and very hard to come to that reality. Um, and I think that is something that still comes up. I'm definitely not as emotional about it as I was in the beginning, but
Yeah.
I just kept coming back to it like, I wish we could help. Like,
Mm,
why didn't she reach out? You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's really hard.
Yeah, and I think with anything like this, especially when it comes to addiction, and this is a disease, and that's what I was telling you, like this is a disease, and as much as we want to help somebody who's an addict, and I have a lot of experience with it as well in my life and my family. I come from a family of addicts, and the
Yeah.
hardest part is like really wanting to shake them and being like, "Why don't you let me help you? Like I have the
Yes.
answers. Like come
Yes.
on." And it's just like this is
Yeah.
almost like this powerlessness of like
Yeah.
I know I could help you, but they have to
Yeah.
want to help themselves. And
Yep.
the sad part about it is addiction is so loud. And even if you haven't dealt with addiction, it's one of those things where you didn't grow up thinking you were going to want to be addicted to drugs one day,
Yeah.
and it happens in the way that we're numbing our emotions, or maybe we're hanging out with
Yep.
the wrong person and that feeling
Yep.
feels really good. It starts out
Hmm.
innocent most of the time.
Yeah.
And then it gets to like, oh, wait a minute, I can escape with this thing that makes
Yeah.
me check out of reality. And then it just comes a way of numbing our emotions. And so, what we have to understand is so much is that it is a disease. And as much as you wanted to help her, and I recently just lost my best friend of 20 years
Hmm.
to addiction.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things where no matter what we say or how we say it or how many times we give them the tools, like they're still going to
Hmm.
choose what they're going to choose. And unless they choose themselves, then we
Yeah.
can't force them into that no matter how much we can. So I would
Hmm.
love to know where you feel you are on the scale of like forgiving yourself for not showing up the
Mm.
way that you feel like you could have.
Yeah. I definitely did work through this a little bit already. So, and I did write myself a little forgiveness letter because you did
Mm,
suggest this to me.
yeah.
And that did feel good. It was still tough to write
Yeah.
because obviously you just keep replaying everything
Hmm.
in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And, with this or with anybody passing, it doesn't matter if it's from addiction or a car
Yeah.
accident or something like
Hmm.
that, where there's going to be guilt. There's going to be like my mom too, when she's been getting in some
Yeah.
accidents, and even me,
Yeah.
like I'm not even in the car with them, and I'm like, wait a minute,
Yep.
how can I change it, right? So it's so
Yeah.
normal for us to feel these emotions, and I think the best thing that we can do for ourselves is not shame it, right? And I know you
Yeah.
know this, and I know you're not shaming your emotions, but if anybody's out there listening, like meeting yourself with so much grace and being like, yeah, actually, I'm supposed to be feeling all of these emotions right now.
Yeah. For sure. And I think, obviously there's a range and I'm not done, or anything like that. And that's where like I just keep saying like I know I'm just gonna feel the wave as it comes.
Yes,
And
beautiful.
we shared this before on the podcast and emotions are just energy in motion. Like it needs to
Mm,
be felt through and
yeah,
it really doesn't last long in the body.
right.
And that's where we don't want to get stuck and we don't want to like, obviously from past experiences and learnings, it's like you don't want to stay in the low vibration, but like honestly, feeling these emotions and feeling the sadness and feeling it fully,
Hmm.
it's really how the body becomes safer with feeling. And
Yeah.
it really allows you to not get better necessarily. I mean, yes, get better with feeling the emotions, but never like, oh, I never have to feel sadness again, or I never have to, do this. It's just your body's way of communicating, like what's real in real time. And I think that's where I'm at right now, like with leaning into this because I've never had such an unexpected loss
Mm,
of someone that was so young.
yeah.
Like that I've been close with, and me and my boyfriend have only been together for like 3.5 years, and and I, of course, might not have never known her before that. And we're also very grateful that we've had this 3.5 years with her because there was a moment in the very beginning of our relationship where she might not have made it.
Mm,
And it was very close to like, they were like, she's not going to make it. And she
mm,
did. So we're very grateful for the time we had. And of course, we know it wasn't on purpose. And that's what sucks as well is that
mm,
it, it takes one time and
mm,
whatever else was going on, it just sucks because you're just going through of like, why didn't she reach out? And the
yeah.
forgiveness piece is such a huge one and having grace with knowing these thoughts. And I've been talking to a couple people and that are been close with her and I keep reminding them the same thing. It's like we all are going through the what ifs, coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Yeah.
thing. And it's natural. It's so
Hmm.
natural to feel it. And doesn't even have to be with somebody that you lost. It's with everyday stuff,
Right.
even. Like, like literally,
Yeah.
like I should have said that. And even with a friendship, both of us have agreed some friendships over the last
Yeah.
couple of years where it's like that can be a loss too. And it's like, well, I should have, whatever, did something. And it's like, of course, it's just knowing our healing tools. And I think that's the heaviest thing is just like, me and her were going to do like her birth chart, and then her birthday just passed with her younger daughters and like we were going to celebrate together. And so like those are the moments that are weighing the heaviest on me
Yeah.
of, like wish we just had a little more time.
Yeah. I just want to reiterate, like you said, it's part of the process to feel everything and to go through and replay all of the things you could have done and replaying the tape. And,
Yeah.
so like you said, though, and it doesn't matter if it's like maybe, well, it could be so many things that we're grieving, right? It's not always just death. Like you said, it's friendships and all
Yeah.
this. And what really I want to bring you back to is like, how can we come back to your truth? And the truth
Yeah.
is that you were showing up in your highest alignment. And maybe, we could have done more, we could have said
Yeah.
more, but we are not in control of fate. And
Yeah.
we are not in control of what other people's soul contracts already were.
Yeah.
And so, how can you lean into more of that? Like, this is actually what was on her path, and how amazing that her soul is not in pain anymore because she
Yeah.
was deep in her addiction and she was in a lot of pain and she was coping with that. And,
Hmm.
being able to know that she's in peace now.
Yeah. I think that is definitely a relief that she is finally, hopefully at peace, at least you would assume so.
Yeah.
Um, we know that for this, of course, she left her
Yeah.
girls,
Mm.
so I we know that she could be also experiencing that loss on the other side, that she's
Yeah.
not able to be here and she feels guilty, and she's also going through the emotions, I'm sure, as a soul or
Yeah.
reviewing her life and being like, wow, why did I do that?
Hmm.
But I think I feel like because I am so deep into the spiritual practices
Yeah.
that we both love and know, like oracle cards. I've been pulling them every day, and they're just also always so
Mhm.
confirming. Today, I literally pulled the card signs and reminders, so I'm like,
Oh.
okay. Um, I've been seeing numbers like crazy, angel numbers. And I think also, and we've gotten a few signs from her already, which is
Hmm.
definitely comforting because she had quite a sense of humor that's a little bit dark, but she's funny and you just know some of the signs are just like, yep, she's laughing on the other side,
Hmm.
from this.
Yeah.
But I think because I know that world and I believe that we will always have a connection as a soul to her,
Yeah.
that she's never
True.
truly like,
Yeah.
quote unquote gone, just in the physical world. Um, it does put me at ease. It does put me
Mm.
at ease that, you know, now she's a guardian angel. Now she's, around to help support us. She's around to um be there for us and guide
Yeah.
us even more. As much as it sucks that she's not in the physical world. And my truth is that. My truth is that we never fully lose the people that we're
Mm.
meant to meet in our soul life, especially
Yeah.
our loved ones and friends and family that we love dearly. Like, if you have a connection with them in the physical world, I truly believe you will have a connection with them on the other side. And of course, since I've always been obsessed with the intuition and being a medium and psychic and like so intrigued with that world and that we all have, intuitive senses, psychic senses. I truly believe with the signs and reminders that you always do receive what you need when you
Mm.
need it. So whether it's from
Mhm.
her or from another, past loved one or just my angels and guides in general,
Yeah.
I do believe that they're here to support me on this path. And I do believe that as harsh of a reality this is, that I can't change it. And it's just going to fuel me for what I need to do. It's like a little bit of pushing me on the right path as well. because now I get to feel my feelings
Yeah.
deeper than maybe I've been avoiding a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and now I get to be like, well, you know what? Maybe I couldn't have helped her in the way that I would like to, but I can help somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like we can pay it forward. And, my boyfriend we both have big dreams. We both have big dreams. We just did a whole 20 Robins weekend, and it's like it already helped us build a solid foundation of
Yeah.
what we wanted to and our goals and everything like that. And now this is like life's just shifted even more now. It's like our why is just becoming more solidified because of this. Because
Yes.
it's like we don't want to, life is just so short. You really don't know your deadline ever. So it's like,
Right.
why the hell are we not living life? Why are we focusing on things that don't matter? And a big reality check too for me is I definitely can hold on to things, physical things, and I'm just like, why am I holding on to so much stuff?
Mm.
You're not taking it with you,
Right.
and like I think it just puts obviously things into perspective. And it helps to remind you of the priorities of what you truly value in life. And I think that is a wake up call, as always, no matter how harsh the reality is. And I definitely am feeling into that truth more and more and just allowing myself to talk about it and feel into it. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do.
Well, I want to reflect back to you of how
Hmm.
much you already have integrated and processed and worked through in just this week. And that's because you've been doing this work. It's because you've been showing up and doing the practices and getting coaching and, doing the things that you know are going to fill up your cup. But that's because you've already had a really strong foundation. And
Yeah.
so, as you're going through all this and you processing, and it's such a beautiful thing for us to process because a lot of people don't actually cry and they don't actually let their emotions come up. They just stuff it down and they
Yep.
think a better thinking thought, or they start keeping their business or their schedule really busy and
Yeah.
not actually processing that. And as we know, that can come out as sickness later on in life. And so, I just
True.
want to reflect on how beautiful of a job that you're doing. And even though it's hard and it's sticky right now, and all the emotions are coming up, you're doing such an amazing job. So, giving yourself some credit, and what a
Yeah.
blessing that
Mm.
your partner and his son and all the girls that she left behind
Hmm.
are all going to have your support and your wisdom, and they manifested you in their life. And
Yeah.
there's something to say to be proud about that. And like you said, the paying it forward is such a big thing, and you're going to be as you step up into, those the role of those girls, right? And
Yeah.
them not having a mother and you being able to be that in their lives and really like stepping up even more than you ever expected before because now you
Hmm.
have more purpose. So
Yeah.
it's so amazing that you have been able to come so far in this week. And so I just want to reflect
Hmm.
that back to you.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I think that's a what I keep coming to of like, I think paying it forward just feels really good because obviously we know we're all human. Not every day is perfect. So
Right.
as much as, this season is a little heavier, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It could be as big as this or as little as, someone cut
Mhm.
you off and you're pissed off at it. Like it doesn't matter. It's just everyone's human, and it's leaning on to those values and the things that I truly believe in that people, what am I looking at? Like, I can choose to look at a lens of like you're a victim and, whatever things suck and, life's never going to be the same and, which it won't be, but I can choose something differently. Like, how do I spread my light more? How do I help other people? And obviously I've been going through coming back to my business of posting more and putting myself out there. And it's like I it is pushing me in that direction even more, even though I was, starting to be on that path again. It's like I again, like you said, like I have that purpose now. I have that pull of being like, no, I can't sit back anymore. Like people need to know these tools. People need to know that they're not alone, and it's like I feel like I think I was telling you, like even just being here for my boyfriend and his family, like obviously I've only known her for a couple years, but they've experienced many versions of her and she's been in the life forever for him, like because they had a little bit of an age difference but he remembers the moment that his mom was pregnant with her. Like
Mm,
it's like it's tough, and I'm just grateful that I can be that support,
yeah.
for them as they go through this. And I believe that is part of my soul lesson, and like part of my soul path is supporting people in this stuff, as and no matter how heavy it is. And
Mm,
like he's been going through some seasons lately, and it's like we just have to keep coming back to the purpose. We have to keep coming back to like things will pass. Everything's, a little more temporary, and what truly matters is really at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
yeah. So my invitation and question for you is what is it that Lisa actually needs? Because she is supporting so many people around her. What are some of the
Yeah.
things that you can step into
Mm.
to make sure that you are also processing and filling your cup up at the same time?
Yeah, so good. And I have been reflecting on this, and it this week, of course, it's so fresh, so I haven't been able to do everything that like, I'm ready to do, but I know I definitely am reflecting of like, once I'm a little bit get my both my feet back on the ground and we kind of are like through this a little bit more. It is finding the joy in life, and um, figuring that out, stop putting things off, that truly matter. And I think a big thing is I do want to come back to like going to a class per week, whether that's a dance class or another yoga class. I was talking to a friend about she goes to like a studio with Pilates and yoga that's hot Pilates and yoga. And I'm like, okay, let me get around people that are into the same stuff, like that are doing things healthy, because definitely trying to stay on that healthy path, definitely trying to be positive. And of course, I'll meet people that are in the same or a similar mindset that I am, that love
Yeah.
those things and just want to be healthy and want to do things for themselves and fuel their body in the best way. And of course, just making time for the people that matter is the other thing, of course, and just like doing things more fun. Like I think this week too obviously taught me, and I'm so grateful that I have a job that can be flexible and that understands what we're going through,
Yeah.
because I would not be able to survive this week if it wasn't for that. Like, it's the heaviness of having a regular job on top of this is so heavy.
Yeah.
And like, not knowing where bills are coming, like, the payments and all that stuff. And I'm just so grateful that I have that on top. So it's like, it just solidifies, like, I'm in the right place for this right now. Like, do I wish things were a little differently? Of course, who doesn't? But I think just knowing like I can take off whenever, I can take care of myself whenever. And just planning those things, like
Yeah.
I've always wanted the flexibility. So it's like, okay, how do I make that flexibility even more for myself moving forward? And I think that's a big thing that like I'm going to be working on, of like, what does my future look like? What do I actually want? Like
Mm,
what does my schedule look like, And I think moving forward, it's learning and leaning into like what truly makes me happy and truly brings me joy. Like you said, like how do I fill my cup up every day? And
right.
obviously, be because if you're not filling up your cup, you're not able to be the best version of you. And of course, I've been really working hard on my like morning routine and feeling good about myself. So like that's pretty solid for me right now. So I've been pretty good with that. But I think it's the rest of the day. It's like, how do I stay, how do I stay on this path? And like after work, it's like, how do I, lift my spirits up in the way that
Yeah.
feels good to me, And I feel like this week it's kind of like I've been realizing like I just need to be outside for a little bit longer. Like now that it's getting nice out, it's like I've been bring my laptop outside to work. And then
Mhm.
it's like just getting out of the house, going to the park, um,
Sim
taking your ride wherever. And it's just like get out of the house because I work from home. So it's like get out of the house, like go
yeah.
socialize for a little bit. Like, or I had a couple friends over and that was like so nourishing for me. Like,
Mm.
um, so it's like definitely realizing like, okay, how can I keep this up? Because that's what matters.
So I'm really hearing you say is simple. Simple,
Yeah,
easy things that you can
super
do
simple.
every day to just, even if it's one thing, even if it's five
Yeah.
minutes, even if it's just walking outside or on the block, even if it's just sitting for a meditation or journaling for
Yep.
5 minutes, right? So it's like really nourishing throughout the day as well. And I think it's easy for us to, we're working, but we can also be thinking about something else. And then so we're
Yeah.
spiraling. I should have done this. I could have done this. And like in that moment, you're going to have to choose to focus on like what is the positive polarity of it, the duality, right? And it's like, okay, there are, there's sickness and sadness and death and, everything that we're going through. And there's also all this beautiful life that is coming to us. And how can we
Mhm.
tap into both of it and allow yourself to feel and also, work through those emotions in the appropriate times, right? Because I think with the grief too, it can hit us at any time. And there's no
Yeah.
timeline on grief. And I know there's a saying of, time heals all. And
Yeah.
in relationships, I would say, yes, like when you're
Yeah.
breaking up or whatever that is. But when it
Yeah.
comes to losing people that are so close to us, I don't really think that that is a true statement, right? Because there's going to
No.
be times where we feel that like deep sadness and grief, and it can be out of nowhere, and it can be at any
Hmm.
moment. And I'm not an expert at grief at all. I've had some deaths happen recently over the last few years for me as well,
Hmm.
like my best friend, and then some really tragic deaths as well in my life, where
Hmm.
it just really puts
Yeah.
things in perspective of like, whoa, anything
Yeah.
can happen at any moment. And it's like, where are we sitting on our dreams? Where are we sitting on the I'll do it tomorrows, or I'm not going to do it now because I'm feeling lazy? And it's like, no, actually, like, how can I use this as fuel for my mission, right? Turning that pain
Right.
into your purpose. And you're already
Yeah.
doing that, which is so beautiful. You're like, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
step it up more. I'm going to go harder, and I'm going to show up even bigger and better and bolder. And it's like, wow,
Hmm.
okay. So, yes, such a tragic thing that happened is actually now fueling beautiful things to happen in the world. And so that's such
Yeah.
a big gift if we allow that to be
Hmm.
in the process of change and grief and pain and loss and all the things that come for us.
Yeah. No, I think, and that's where, just reminding yourself as much as whatever you've went through in life, it life is a gift. That's it at the end of the day. And it's like, are
Right.
you truly enjoying it, or are you stuck in, of a negative mindset and staying in survival? Like
Mm,
life isn't meant for us to just, that the quote or whatever, just pay bills and die. Like, like life is not meant for that. Like,
no.
and I think, this is obviously a wake up call for that of being like, what are we doing? What the hell are we doing
Right.
in life?
Right.
Like, why are we not freaking enjoying it? And yeah, I think that'll be shifting a lot for us
Another thing
moving
that's
forward.
coming to mind right now is actually forgiveness for her, right? Because there's some like
Yeah.
anger of like, why didn't you get more help? Why did you do this?
Mm,
There's all that like
mm-hmm.
almost this blame, I think, when it comes to addiction too, because I know personally I missed my best friend's call the night before she passed
Yeah.
away. And so it's like, oh, if I would have just answered it, because there's so many times that I have walked her off the ledge. I met her in
Yeah.
recovery, and so she just struggled with addiction so much for the 20 years that I know her. But at the end of the day, I have to trust that this was her path, regardless of what I think I
Yeah.
could have changed in that moment. And still showing up and being the person that I know she wanted me to be too, right? Like I know
Mm,
she has so many dreams for me and she cared about me so much. And it's like, okay, even though I'm like hurting and I'm sad, I am still able to show up and be a productive member of society, regardless of like how much I may be hurting, right? And so
yeah.
yeah, it's just addiction is affects millions of people, right? It doesn't just affect the person that is in the disease, it affects everybody in their lives, and it's a ripple effect. And millions of people are dealing with this disease every day at every moment,
Mhm.
and that is the fact and reality that we live in on this earthly plane.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah, again, it's not our path, like
Yeah.
it doesn't affect, I mean, it affects us, obviously, but it's not our soul's path, and
Mm,
it's their learning, not ours. And obviously it sucks to have to admit that
yeah.
and realize that. But again, like you said, like for having forgiveness for her 100%, like
Yeah. Good.
through this, because it just, I'm sure that like she's,
Mm,
you know,
hmm.
not, quote unquote happy on the other side, because it's so hard, like
Yeah.
to realize what happened. And, even as a soul, and even as her reflecting on her own life, like it's tough. It's tough. And there's just, you just have to And that's, I mean, it sucks because life just goes on in the physical world.
Yep. That's a
And I
dark
think
reality. I think
it
after
is.
somebody a big loss like that, you're like, whoa, everybody's still getting up and everything like everything's normal, but my whole world is
Yeah.
crumbled.
Yeah. It's like I kept trying every day to like get back to a normal quote unquote work day. Like I work from home, so like I'll be able to do it, no problem. But no. It's like one day, Monday after we found out, I couldn't do it. I just lost it.
Mm,
And I thought I was okay on Sunday and I was like, yeah, I'll be okay to work for a couple hours, maybe not a full day, but like I could not even log on. I like it was really hard. I was like, wow, like this is really hitting me.
yeah.
And then it was like the next day because I released a lot, and I gave myself space to feel. I gave myself compassion. I of course had the boys here. Um and they supported me, as I was feeling it all. And then Tuesday I was like, okay, I feel a little better, and I was a little more in a better mindset, and I was able to do some work. And then the last couple of days again, like same thing. It was like I couldn't stay focused.
Mm,
And I'm just like, wow, this is a lot harder than I expected
yeah.
because we're so used to pushing through things. We're so used to put it off and you're fine and da da da, like, and I'm just like, I can push through it and I can help work. Cause then, of course, at the same time, I'm feeling bad, like I'm not there helping with work, and putting it all on them. But at the same time, they have a lot of grace for me and a lot of compassion. And I'm so lucky for that
Yeah.
because I do get to have that space, and it's like, I'm gonna, hop on later and I'll let you know. And I'll help out with what I can, and they just have been taking things off my plate. But obviously, if I can help out, great.
Yeah.
And it's been so nice to have that. Like, I'm just like, wow, people can operate like this too. Like, like it's like giving yourself the space to heal and to feel. And I've been feeling just like, I need to get out of the house for a bit. And that's been helpful. And I don't know what next week's gonna bring because we're not having the service till next week. So more can come up,
Yeah.
or I could be feeling, more neutral, but obviously it's going to be same thing. It's going to be waves. It's going to
Yeah.
be in and out of it. And I just have to really honor my body for feeling everything, whether it's my emotion or everyone else's emotion, because that also is a thing. Um, where, who knows if who knows what can happen. And I think I have been doing a good job with feeling things more over this week. And I am really proud of myself for that because I do have the space. So I'm like, I need to feel it right now because a lot of times, I am definitely the productive one where I'm like, nope, I can feel it later and I can do it later and I'm fine and whatever, but I'm really allowing myself to feel it all. Um and I think that's what life's about. It's about feeling the everything,
Mm,
seeing we have that polarity, we have the black and white and the sad and happy, you have it's like whatever that's saying, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but like you can't was it it's better to love than it's better to have lost love than what I'm
never
talking
lived
about?
it
That
all.
one. Yeah, there you go. That one.
I think too, it can be scary for a lot of
Yeah.
people and some of you who may be listening to think about feeling your emotions. I know especially for the older generations are like
Hmm.
don't know how to feel their emotions and it's
Hmm.
scary. And if you do need support with that, I highly recommend you reach out to Lisa and I for going through something and you're like, how can I feel this emotion and what support do I need? We'd love to give that to you. It
Hmm.
is incredibly powerful to be held in a space like this with somebody who knows how to work through the emotions and give you what you need in those moments. There's something so special about it. But another thing I wanted to touch on that I heard you say, and it's a societal conditioning, and it's the guilt
Hmm.
of like, I can't take time off work. I need to be
Hmm.
there. I need to help. And we've been conditioned from a very young age that you can't miss school and you have to be there and you have to make up your work and
Hmm.
all this stuff. And then you get to corporate and you get to, you were
Yeah.
working for a restaurant for a long time, right? So then there's like the skill. If I'm not there, then I'm
Yep.
not going to be able to cover my shift and stuff. And so I
Hmm.
just want to bring awareness to that. It always ends up working out, regardless if we showed up or not. Like the people, it gets done, the work gets done. And so having a little bit more grace for yourself in that, like not feeling guilty. And, if anybody's out there going through something similar, it's like, oh, actually, I get to give myself a whole lot of grace because if somebody else was out and had something happen like this, I would pick up the phone and work 5 extra hours if I needed to, right? We are those types of people. And so to remember that too, that it's such a beautiful gift to have the support and to have the space, and also they'll figure it out. Just like any
Yeah.
like corporate job, you leave, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna replace you, right? And so it's really coming back to that truth of I will be supported if I continue to show up for myself in the way that I know that I need to.
Yeah. And I think with you saying that too, like bringing up the fact that you shared already earlier, but like whatever emotions you don't feel now become a disease. Like it
Mm,
festers in your body and your body is literally constantly like communicating with you. So whenever you're not feeling something, it is going to push you into a physical ailment. And this could be resentment, it could be guilt, it could be sadness, it could be so many different things, shame, like so many anger, it could be so many different things. And obviously, grief can have many layers and many levels. So I know this, and I know that feeling myself in the moment and allowing myself to cry, to get annoyed. I like screamed in my car the other day, like, or I just let out like a big sound and like just like I'm gonna go until I don't have air left. Like, and
good.
it's just like, as much as that's uncomfortable still, even though I know it works, it's so uncomfortable sometimes. It's so
Yeah.
uncomfortable to cry in front of other people, but like you're healing yourself and you're healing other people when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and allow yourself to be in those moments of full grief, of full emotion, because your body is literally going to thank you afterwards. And you don't have to hold on to them because I know I definitely have done that. And if you're ever interested, The Body Keeps a Score, of course, is a great book to really understand that. We also have a couple books by Louise Hay is You Can Heal Your Life and You Can Heal Your Body that really talks about like the emotional things that will can fester into physical ailments and some affirmations for that. And of course, I always forget the one that we both have, that
The light
spiritual
language
one.
of the body.
Yeah, the language of the body. That's another book that also has some really great understanding of how to heal through emotions because a lot of physical things become disease in the
Yeah.
body. We're not meant to hold everything in. We're not meant to not share it. We're not meant to like, be open about it. Like, and I think that's what this purpose is right now is that I'm just sharing things that are coming up because, and especially with this conversation on our podcast, like it is about the healing part, the uncomfortable part. Um, because again, like what me and Desi believe is that, and of course you can add to it, but we definitely believe that all of our sicknesses and all of the things that we go through life is normally an emotional situation attached to it. There is a trigger, there's a wound, there's something that we need to work through. And if you don't know, what to do, it's that's where we lean on. We lean on other sources and other
Mm.
books and our each other, like just talking about it instead of holding it in
Yeah.
um, really allows you to be expressive, to really allows you to be free in whatever way. And I think that's what I'm learning through this as well, is like really, really being allowed to be expressed,
Mm.
express the emotion and whatever it feels to come out. Like I'm definitely not like one to yell, but I know I'm gonna need to yell and then during this process. And I have to allow myself to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I would love to open up the Akashic records like we talked about and see if we
Yeah.
can, if you want to ask any questions. And for those of you who don't know what the Akashic records are, this is your soul's vibrational blueprint of all past, present, future timelines. And so I will say a prayer and I will open up Lisa's specific Akashic records. And then
Mhm.
once we have those open, she can ask questions. So if we want to do that, we can go ahead and open up the Akasha. So I will go ahead and start. I open the records in love. I open the records in light. I open the records for the greatest good of all. I invite all Akashic beings, angels, guides, masters, and teachers of Lisa to be here now. I ask all guidance, all knowing, and all truth to be here for Lisa. I ask that a channel of connection be open of love, light, and healing to flow from the Akasha to Lisa now.
Mm.
The records are open in love. The records are open in light. The records are open for the greatest good of all. Beautiful. So if you have any questions, we can go ahead and ask the Akasha.
Um, my biggest thing, I think, just like you were saying about filling up my cup is like, what is the thing that I need to lean into about filling up my cup?
Hmm.
Mm.
I am seeing the word play, like big, bold, fun, like play. And then yeah, they're confirming nature for sure is going to be a big one. Um, But they're also showing me like you nestled up in a blanket
Mm,
and like with tea and just like really feeling your emotions and
mm,
having that space. And also they're asking for invitation. I don't know how your partner how they're processing it, but also maybe bringing them into the process as well and giving
yeah.
them a safe space to feel and to heal and to let their emotions like really go through. Um, yeah, because I'm seeing like you're almost in the center of like a lot of what's happening, and then like, the people around you are almost like subconsciously looking to you for guidance.
Mm, yeah.
Not to put pressure or anything, not, but you've already been
Yeah.
handling it so well. So they're just really reaffirming that you are doing such an amazing job. And yeah, I'm really showing like an opening for you and for you guys, like really like this next level, even though this is like so hard, but really turning that pain into like going so strong after your goals and like tenacity after all the things that you have desire. Like there's no more excuses because it's been put in such a clear perspective for you.
Yeah. No, definitely feel that. Like I I've been ever since we did the Tony Robbins event, me and Steve did like the last day is like all about health. And I think I shared
Mm,
with you like we did like this health challenge because that's what they recommend. And ever since then it was like we were doing so good and like
mhm.
everything's been just feeling so good. Like we're not like leaning on coffee and caffeine all day. Like of course this week was a little bit different, but
Yeah.
still like we're trying not to go back to those bad habits, right?
Yeah.
And because we've been like revamping and really getting solid on like what our purpose is and our why and everything like that, it's like this is I'm just like wow, like thank God we did that before this happened because it's like we get so fueled and filled up by like personal growth and like leaning into like what is our vision and our priorities and like really making shit happen because we both know that we are meant for more
Yeah.
and we're like it's go time. Like now it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we needed to pause, of course, but like it's go time. Like this is why we're fucking doing this because, and I'm sorry if for anybody that's listening and doesn't love the curse words, it may happen, because I get fired up about this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
are you kidding? Like, and me and you have obviously been on this journey for years now too, and my journey where I've been up and down and up and down, and it's like I finally am really believing in myself, and I'm like. I have so much to share. And this is my pool lately. And I'm like, wow, I need to stop keeping it on myself, essentially, like not that I do, but I'm like, wow, like this is really going to solidify our purpose and doing things in the way like I would eventually we would love to, I'm sure, do stuff together in this way. Like I know he has big dreams about helping other people and
Yeah.
so many different ways, and we both can definitely marry them eventually and like allow ourselves to really help people in so many different ways because this is unfortunately a big part of his life as well. Not just his sister, but his mom and a couple other people in his life. And we just want to help people. We want to help people feel good. We want to help people feel loved, and we want to help people that like know that there's a different way.
Yeah.
So I think obviously filling up our cup and really taking him along with me is a big thing.
Yeah.
he's a big guy, and as much as he wants to be tough,
Yeah.
still got to feel too.
Yep. Definitely. You ain't getting away from that. You're with
Yeah.
me for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, yep. I help soften his heart a little bit. So I think, helping him learn to feel his feelings because again,
Yeah.
he's had to have this tough armor because he had to be the strong one for everyone.
Hmm.
And it's not really letting down now, of course, but I can be the person for him to be like,
Mm,
I'm gonna teach you to be soft but strong.
yeah. Amen.
So yeah, no, I appreciate all of that because that's definitely a validation because play is a big one for me. We actually went last Saturday to the trampoline park
Oh,
with the girls because it was one of the girls' birthday and that's why this is also very hard because
yeah.
it's something that we couldn't tell them in the moment because we didn't want to, tint the day exactly. But I was like, I'm going on the trampolines. I need this, I think. And
Yeah.
me and Mason went on the trampolines and the girls weren't there yet, so they were running late. So I was like, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. And I never did that. And I definitely have a little fear of like jumping off and getting hurt and
So
stuff,
fun
of
though.
course. Of course, but he's like taking me through the obstacles and this one's like a pretty big one and it's newer, so like it's really cool. And
Nice.
I was like, I definitely want to come back and do more of that because I'm like, why can't I jump with these kids and like, be a kid because it just was so nice to like be in the moment and feel like I'm having fun and the play is definitely a big one. T has been such a I mean, nature is definitely a big one for me too. Like getting out, we have a park that's like pretty big and it just feels so spacious and like the nicer days obviously. But like just being outside is like thank God the weather's getting warmer because I need that more right now too.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Lisa is in New Jersey. I don't know if we said that. So she's
No.
not in the sunshine state like I am in
Yeah.
Arizona. So, but play is such a big part of our journey. And we
Yeah.
as adults forgot how to play. And we
Yeah.
think that play is something that people that have extra time on their hand do, but actually play is an intentional thing that we have to do as adults. And there's
Yep.
so much healing when we let our guards down and we connect with our inner child through play. There's so much that can be created in that space as well and healed and just to let go of all the adult things that we have to do day in and day out to be able to connect to play. So that is something that I would recommend for everybody to do is to really get into that joy and get into that play and like get on the floor with your niece, your nephew, your kids, right?
Yeah.
Go down the
Right.
slide. Like you will see me on the slide, you will
Yes.
see me on the swing because I know
Yep.
that when I connect with my little girl like that, and as you're experiencing as well in this like deep darkness, it's like, oh, I can still find the joy even in the darkness.
Yeah. So true. Yeah. Like I'm like now I'm like, oh my God, we have to have the girls over and do like a movie night and make ice cream
Hmm.
sundaes and
Yeah.
like, it's like we get to do those things and obviously we are, again, it's just like don't forget to play. Don't forget to have fun. Like,
Yes.
obviously like we're adults and we think you have to be serious all the time, but it's not. And I that's definitely a big lesson for me in the last couple years. So being that reminder is so helpful to keep playing and like we both know is and of course with your work as inner child, it's we're all just still kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're all
Mm-hmm.
like no one knows what the hell they're doing. No one just grows up and got handed a booklet of like no one literally and knows what they're doing. Like there's no booklet for
Right.
anyone's life. And
Right.
I'm just like, we're just little kids, like in this grown body now. Just like,
Yeah.
and it's funny to think back like of your parents and like, how did they do this? Like they
Right.
didn't know what they were doing. Like they
And
just
that's
did
why we're
it.
healing all that trauma.
Yeah. And it's just, it's funny to think of those things and I think back and be like, let's just have grace for ourselves today because no one knows what they're doing,
Right.
and it's just like
Right.
we're just showing up to life every day, and just being grateful for that.
Do
But
you
I
have
think,
any? Good.
yeah, I'm gonna say with my partner and Mason, with Steve and Mason, just like how else can I
Mm.
support them through this and be,
Mm.
be their solid person, I guess,
Hmm.
and help them heal.
Yeah. What I'm seeing is more hugs, more connection.
Mhm.
and like touch that physical touch is what I'm
Yep.
seeing as well. And I feel like Steve is he a physical like touch type of person? Like is his love language and all that?
Yeah, it's definitely one of them, one of the
Okay,
priority ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that, but I'm also like seeing like, like checking in with them for the next like couple of weeks too, like, hey,
Yeah.
how are you feeling?
Hmm.
And they're saying that not to take on too much a role because things will happen naturally. But that you could, ask like, how are you feeling today? Do you need any support?
Mm,
Would be helpful for them. But also not to overwhelm you either. So to make sure that you're actually well resourced
yeah.
before you're asking others. So we can go back to what you were saying earlier of like, if you're giving from an empty cup, then you're
Yeah.
not your best
Not
version
helping.
of yourself,
Yeah.
right? So, let me see if there's anything else coming through that. Yeah, and what they were just reminding you is that they're going to have their own process
Hmm.
and to really allow that to happen. Yeah, and knowing that they will be on that journey for a little bit.
Yeah. 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 I think it's just, yeah, that makes sense, of course. Everything that you shared to help them with, and
Yeah.
because it's definitely them. They just, hugs and connection and like quality time is a big
Yeah.
one for both of them.
Yeah.
So I think making sure we're doing that each week will be really helpful. And that's why I think, like, I was kind of mentioning to Steve, like, we should try to get the girls maybe once a week or at least every other week,
Yes.
and just like really do things with them because, like, I think it's going to heal us all.
Right.
And obviously we have Mason every other week for every weekend for the most part. So, um, I think it'll be really good for him because he always wants to see them and even pop up, of course, that,
Hmm.
he needs it too. He wants to see them all the time. And he's definitely crushed too, as
Hmm.
well. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I know for me, a lot of or what's coming through right now is like, keeping their memories alive and keeping
mhm,
their like not the legacy, but like their memory of like, their birthdays and, making
yeah.
that still special. And, Mother's Day is coming up too, which
Oh,
is a
yeah.
tough one, with kids, they don't really
Mhm,
understand the death thing. And it's especially because they're so young, but, just kids in general, it's still such a like big thing. Like, wow, to be able to like never see somebody again. I still feel like that. But for kids, it is definitely different that their little brains are
mhm.
processing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think we just have to keep, like keep moving forward. And last night, like obviously it's Easter this weekend, and
Yeah.
I was like, I just need to do something for them. Let's go out and like get some Easter baskets and, try to do something for them. And like, that obviously again they're processing a little bit differently and not fully understanding yet.
Right.
So it's like, like hopefully we'll see them tomorrow, or we can try to like see if their dad doesn't have any plans, so we can hopefully see them and like do something nice for them, because I think that's going to be a big part of our why. And like, let's just focus on those things. Focus on like,
Yeah.
doing the small things for them and seeing them whenever we can, and like planning things, and because that's what life's about, Again, going
Yeah.
back to that, it's like it's just going to change our priorities and be like, no, we need to see them. Like
Yeah.
that's a big part for all of us. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good. We've covered so much.
I know we did.
How are you feeling now?
I definitely am feeling good. Of course, I could just keep going with this conversation because it's just, so much, but I definitely feel really good right now because I always like to have a confirmation. So, of course, the Akasha really gives you that confirmation
Mm,
from whatever you're feeling, and my intuition, and what I already know. Just, sometimes it's a really good reminder to be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I need to do, or that's what I need to lean into right now,"
right.
because again, it's like how like I don't want to be putting too much pressure on myself.
Yes.
And I don't want to, I also want to help everybody around me right now, because
Yeah.
I know that I can be helpful and be a stronger one and also like help them heal.
Hmm.
I think that's my biggest thing is like, I think that's why I'm here. Like
Yeah.
a big part of it is just like, how can I help and how can I not
What's
overwhelm myself?
what's coming through the Akasha right now? Because I'm kind of asking the question like, what is it that you need to know, and what am I seeing? And have you guys talked
hmm
about any like grief counseling for Steve or for the girls or for Mason?
The girls, I'm pretty sure they are already talking about
Good.
putting them into something.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, so yes and no for Mason. Mason's definitely does not respond well to it.
Okay.
Um, he doesn't want to talk to a stranger because they've tried therapy a little bit
Hmm.
before. Um, but he's really leaning into his faith.
Good. Well, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, so he has a youth pastor that like he really enjoys. So we're trying to get him to express what he needs to.
Yeah.
Um, because he was also just going through a different situation that we was a really tough situation personally for him with school. So things are looking up for him. But
Mhm.
also he still needs to go through some stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously with this on top of it, doesn't, necessarily take everything else away. So we're hoping that he will take the opportunity and try it.
Yeah.
But again, it might not be right now. It might be
Yeah.
down the line. And then with Steve, I'm not sure. It's a little resistance there.
Yeah. Well, we'll send out like good vibes and when
Yeah.
he's ready for it, like
Yeah.
having
I think
that
it's gonna
back in
take
his
some
mind.
time, but
Yeah.
then having that.
Right.
He did hire a coach, like
Oh,
a
good.
one-on-one coach
Oh, that's
through the
perfect.
Tony Robbins. Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm like,
awesome.
that's gonna really gonna help him.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
more for his goals and stuff, but I think it's gonna be really helpful for him to have that focus and have
Yeah,
somebody in his corner.
definitely. Definitely. Well, let me go ahead and close the caution unless you have anything
Mhm.
else.
I think that's it for now. I feel pretty good.
Feel complete. Okay. I
hmm
send love, blessings, and gratitude to the caution all beings. I close the records in love. I close the records in light. I close the records in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody who has tuned in
Yeah.
and maybe going through something similar or whatever it is. We see you and
hmm
we're here for support. Like I've already mentioned, please reach out to us on social medias. We'll have ways that we can support you and just know that
hmm
you're not alone on this journey. Wherever you may be is exactly where you're supposed to be, even if it feels so
Yeah.
heavy and so hard and so wrong and why
hmm
and all the questions and we can't
Yeah.
understand, and knowing that that's just part of the process. And if you're dealing with somebody who is in addiction, you're not alone. There is
hmm
help in your area, so be sure to reach out to your local A, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. They have Al-Anon
hmm
Anonymous. There are meetings in your area for help and there's resources. So please make
hmm
sure that you are getting the help that you need and there's no shame. And the more that you can show up in your bravery, like Lisa here, to ask for help, the more you will excel at life and be able to handle the harder things that come at you. So I just wanted to make sure that we preference that as well.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Yeah, life is, life. So that's why we're here. That's why we're sharing this. And whatever you're going through, we're sending you love.
Yes. Mm.
And you are not alone, just like Desi said. And whether you reach out to us, whether you have someone that you can reach out to or find the support in your area, that is sometimes a really hard step to admit what you're feeling and to admit what you're going through. But we promise that it gets better when you're able to, and especially when you find the correct support for you. It doesn't have to be us, but it's just someone that you trust, someone that you can lean into and really hold you in the space that you need. That's the biggest thing that we can share too, is that like you really do need something for you because all of us need something different.
Hmm.
Whether you're talking about it with a friend and you just feel so comforted and in that way and getting some validation, or you could be talking to a stranger because maybe that's easier.
Mm.
So there's so many different ways to receive support. Just try something if you need it. And if that feels a little bit of an edge, but you feel like, maybe I'm curious, lean into that curiosity. And we'll be definitely sharing a couple more episodes, I'm sure, around this topic and what we use for tools. So definitely stay tuned or follow or go check, see if that episode is also up. But we will be here. We will be here to keep talking about things that are uncomfortable and vulnerable. And we just hope that you get what you need out of these conversations. So thank you again.